A few weeks ago, in his message, Pastor used the phrase, perhaps you've heard of, God don't make no junk. Indeed, everything that God has made is perfect. He put it here for our enjoyment. I'd like to read to you the same thought from a pamphlet, Our Daily Bread, written by David Roper. Begin where you are. I came across a solitary flower growing in a meadow today, a tiny purple blossom, wasting its sweetness in the desert air. To borrow from the poet Thomas Gray's wonderful line, I'm sure no one had seen this particular flower before, and perhaps no one will see it again. Why is the beauty in this place, I thought. Nature is never wasted. It daily displays the truth, goodness, and beauty of the one who brought it into being. Every day, nature offers a new and fresh declaration of God's glory. Do I see Him through that beauty, or do I merely glance at it and shrug it off in indifference? All nature declares the beauty of the one who made it. Our response can be worship, adoration, and thanksgiving for the radiance of a cornflower, the splendor of a morning sunshine, the symmetry of one particular tree. Author C.S. Lewis describes a walk in the forest on a hot day. He had just asked a friend how best to cultivate a heart thankful toward God. His hiking companion turned to a nearby brook, splashed his face and hands in a little waterfall, and asked, "Why not begin with this?" Lewis said he learned a great principle at that moment. Begin where you are. A trickling waterfall, the wind in the willows, a baby robin, a tiny flower. Why not begin your thankfulness with that? Father, may we always be reminded that you have placed beauty here because it reflects your character. We praise you. What are you thankful for today? God is the beauty behind all beauty. Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 11 tells us the same story in a little different way. He has made everything beautiful in His time. Also, He has set the world in their heart, so that no man can find out the work that God made from beginning to end. When I was about 10 years old, I spent the whole summer on Grandma and Grandpa's farm. Really, really rural West Virginia. It was about 15 miles to the nearest town on a dirt road. There wasn't anything for a boy to do there. But I didn't get bored. There were 2 dogs to play with, hills to climb, a creek to fish and swim in. I just enjoyed the surroundings. One day I was sitting on a rock next to a footlog crossing a creek, just looking for a fish or a frog or a crawdad or a turtle. And along floating on top of the water, a tiny white butterfly caught in the flood. I reached out with a stick, caught the butterfly, placed it on a rock in the sunshine, And it sat there for about 15 minutes, slowly moving its wings back and forth. Finally, the sun had dried it enough that it could fly. It flew up to go do what butterflies do, but before leaving, it flew around my head in a circle 7 times. I knew at that moment that there was a higher power that created all these things. Have you ever used your time to really appreciate God's nature, His creation? Have you stopped to look around and really marvel at the things that you can see and the perfection of all of those things? Those are my feelings. If you have a magnifying glass, sprinkle a few grains of salt in the palm of your hand and look at them through the glass. What do you see? They're tiny, perfect cubes. Go in the garage and get some rock salt, like you use to melt ice on the sidewalk. A little bigger crystals, but they're also perfect cubes. Break them. They become many smaller, perfect cubes. If it's possible for you, take a walk out at night, observe the heavens, wonder at the universe. How did all those things get there? How did all those planets get there? How did all those stars get there? God put them there. Have you ever wondered how all the animals create perfect replicas of themselves? Have you ever wondered how flowers and plants reproduce themselves in exact likenesses from a tiny seed? All of this was created for our enjoyment, as told to us in the first chapter of Genesis by the Father. Observe your surroundings and enjoy.